Hi, I'm Maggie, or Margaret Ann, depends who you're asking. Um, I want to share a piece of art with you, something I've made about 7 or 8 years ago. It was born out of trauma, some deep personal trauma, but it was actually a collaborative project. I was teaching Bible study in a women's shelter, and at one point I had told the ladies that I would share my story with them. I had shared little tiny bits, but I'd never really shared the whole thing. And I wanted to share the whole thing because they needed to know that I could relate to the things they were also escaping. And I wanted to make a piece of art that would help explain to other people why it is so hard to leave an abusive spouse. And I have done that. I succeeded. And here's the piece. I will show it to you. There it is. Hopefully you can see that reflection. Hi. You see there's a mirror behind it. Okay. So I'm not going to go through everything that is on this piece. I will give you a few things that are written on here. I want to warn you ahead of time, if you have littles, either put earbuds in or wait and watch this when they're not around. Because if they can read, they will ask you what some of these words mean. I'm going to give you some close-ups so you can see some of these things that are written. What is on this is actual words that were said to people. Actual things that were said to people. I would say half of them are things that were said to me. And some of them are in my handwriting, but they are in my handwriting so that the person who shared with me remains anonymous. They did not want to be recognized in any way. They were very concerned about that, and it is a concern. So, having said that, I'm going to read some of these first, and then I'm going to give you the close-ups, and then I'm going to explain what the piece shows us. Let's see here. No one will ever believe you. Your job is to shut up and submit. I'm glad no one else finds you attractive. You deserved what you got. I will pull this trigger. No one will ever want you. If you were better at cleaning, he would come home to you instead. Let's see. They will know you're the problem. If you weren't a stupid bitch, I wouldn't be angry. If you ever leave, I will follow you and kill you. Why don't you just leave? But it's only words. Where's your proof? So, these are real things that were said to an actual human being. Where's your proof? Why don't you just leave? I think maybe that's the question that people wonder about the most. Why don't you just leave? And I remember people saying that to me. And I could not come up with a really good answer. I didn't know why, because in the middle of it, you don't even know which way is up. It's just so hard to find a way out when you feel like you're stuck in a vicious cycle that's a maze. You just can't see a way out. And yeah, it's just so hard. So what I've done is I have created this piece to explain why that's so hard, why it's so tough. Because the other part about being an observer of an abusive situation is you really want to help. You really want to take them out. You want to give them safety. You want to give them comfort, support. And that's fantastic. And I love that you want to do that. But you can't make them leave, because if you make them leave, they'll go back. And here's why. There's the mirror. You can see that's a mirror in there, right? Where are you? Can you see yourself? You can't see yourself in that. It's a perfectly good mirror. And I'm trying to find the camera that is right in front of this thing. That's not it. Down maybe? Down. Oh, that's a chair. I have no idea. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. I can't even get all of the phone in there. The screen. Okay, so this is what it's like looking at yourself when you are trying to get out of an abusive situation. Where are I? Goodness. Where are you? Can you find yourself? Maybe bits and pieces. But not only can you not see yourself in here, you see everything else. All this other stuff. All these words. All these questions. All these insults. And not only is it hard to see yourself in there, this is what you start seeing, because it's easier and it's so prominent. So you start seeing these things instead of actually what you are, who you've been, and you're lost. So why would you find your way out? Why would you leave? Because you start to believe it. And then, yeah, who would want the broken toy? I'm just a broken toy. No one's going to want to play with that. And then you just stay, because what else are you going to do? No one would want you. You believe it. You can't get a job that's worth anything, and you believe it. You are a terrible wife or husband. Husbands are abused as well. You're a terrible spouse, and you believe it. You deserve this, and you start to believe it. And so when you are trying to help someone out of a situation, the hardest thing for you to do is wait until it becomes their decision. But once it becomes their decision, they're a lot more likely to stay gone. They're going to find a place to be safe. They're going to find a place with support. They're going to find a place where they can start seeing who they are again. And they're going to really believe they deserve better. It's going to take a while, but eventually they will, because they're going to stop seeing this and they're going to start seeing this. And look, here you are, right here. You don't need someone else to tell you who you are, but you've had it for so long. And you're going to start seeing yourself the way God sees you. You're going to start seeing that beautiful creation that's amazing and made in His image. And you're going to need a lot of help from people supporting you and reminding you. And even 18 years later, I still need reminders. I still flinch. I am in a very loving marriage. I have a wonderful husband who never complains about his disabled wife, who understands I have CPTSD and extreme anxiety, and I can't help it. And I do things like I have to sit facing the door. I have to see the door when we go somewhere. I can't not. And he understands that. It doesn't make sense to him. But I am in a very loving marriage. I have a wonderful family. I have a thriving ministry down here in my art studios. And I still need reminded. So if you're getting out of that, if you're coming out, look for those people who will support you. Look for the people who will remind you of who you really are, whose you really are. If you are supporting someone and loving someone out of an abusive situation, you are that person. Be that person that reminds them whose they are, that reminds them they don't deserve this. God never intended for any of his children to be treated like that. They don't deserve it. So, any questions? Feel free to pop the questions in the comments on the video. I'm an open book. And if you need help, really, 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 I encourage you to look for it. Find a number to call, find a domestic violence shelter, find someone, because you deserve better. And you're loved.